Hey everyone, it's Combustionaut again, here with a speed drawing, sketching, and or painting video. I haven't decided which video this audio is going to be over. It's probably going to be over one of the speed painting ones. And I'm sorry if the mic quality is bad or if it's like too loud or too quiet. You know how it is. I don't. That's why my audio is bad, probably. Anyway, I feel bad because I wanted to do this project where I did a bunch of stuff for a while, and I did okay. I think I got really confident because I did like 24, uh, studies or whatever, like over a pretty brief period of time, and then I kind of dropped it. But like I was doing pretty good for a while there, so I was proud of that at least. Um, yeah. So a couple updates in the last 2 months. Uh, I got diagnosed. Well, I have been diagnosed officially with ADHD. I started medication, and that's been helping a little bit. I will note that yeah, I think that I've been kind of worried about how the diagnosis is kind of like making me feel about myself because I feel like it's not something that I can control, and like all of the YouTube videos I look at discussing ADHD, like whether it doesn't matter how they're talking or how they're presenting it. I might turn this down a little bit. I apologize. It doesn't really matter how it's being presented. It always feels very infantilizing. Like, you can't do this. You just will fail. You'll do this. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. This feels like shit. I'd rather just like be dead or something. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that, but no, if I could choose to, I'm not one of those people that thinks like, oh, guys, it's actually a gift. I don't think anyone actually does think that. Maybe it's just cope. Anyways, we're no talking about that. I just wanted to give an update. I've been gone because I've been like trying to do, well, I've been feeling like I'm trying to change stuff in my life, and to an extent I am. Like I said, I'm taking medication. Um, I started working out and running again, so that's doing okay. It's not super consistent, but I'm doing it at least once a week. Yesterday I tried to go I tried to do one of my runs, but like the top of my feet were hurting, so I like gave up after like 5 minutes. But anyways, um, yeah. So I have I have plenty of content for you all, which is, I don't know if that's what people want right now. Oh, I love content. Ooh, algorithm, give me more content. Give me content. Give me, like I'm getting tired of it, man. I want to make shit. I want to be human. Been getting more hours at work, um, because coworker found a new job. Which, congratulations. He'll probably see this because he's also my friend and he watches these videos when I upload them. Um, yeah, I don't know. Things are okay. I feel like things definitely feel better. Like when I talk to my therapist and I do the depression stuff, the depression survey, it feels a lot better than it was feeling, and the scores are a lot lower. But maybe they'll go back up. We'll see. We'll see if we can get those test scores up again. Um, I will say I don't like insurance companies. They suck. So that's awesome. We'll just leave it at that. I won't say anything else. Um, right. I don't know if I want to do it in this video or maybe the next one I upload. I think I'll upload two today. I'll record two audios and stuff because I want to talk about some projects I have or some ideas that I have. Like, I don't want to go into it right now because I'm actually still kind of contemplating whether or not I want to talk about them, because I kind of have this paranoid fear of like, if I talk about it or if I don't do a project fast enough, someone is going to do that project before me, and then I'm going to look like an idiot because I'll like have halfway completed another project, and someone else is going to have finished it before, like done their version of the same concept before me, and that just makes it stupid. and mine would be derivative, even though I came up with the idea independently of any other one's lame ass idea, which mine is better than, obviously. Um, I'll talk about one of the ideas that I have for like a little illustration, or like a little, I don't know. If I could paint, it would be a painting, but I can't paint yet. I've tried. You'll see. You'll see. I think a big thing is right now is edges, I guess. I think I could get away with the colors that I use, to be honest. I don't think that it's like impossible for me to um get away with that. I don't know how to say it. Like I just feel like my edge control is bad. It's not as I like working with lines. What can I say? I'm a line Andy. I like hard edges. I like two values. I like hatching, and I'm working on trying to get my ability to use value to indicate form and like edge and and stuff better. I don't want to. I don't just want to be a black and white Andy. I want to be like a guy who can do as much as he can do, you know? And it sucks, I guess, because I'm not good at coloring or anything. I'm good at a couple things, I think. And I'm kind of happy with myself because when I was a little kid, like a little kid, like I think I made a good decision. I was like, um, I'm not going to use color because A, it's too confusing and I don't like it, and B, I'm not even good at drawing yet. So like, why would I try to color stuff in? And I think that's pretty logical for a little kid to be like, I'm just gonna ball and do this one thing over and over again because that's how you get good at it. Too bad we live in America, at least. Shouts out to my European viewers, which I don't have yet. One day we'll get some, but um, we live in a situation where not only is education bad for like um, neurodivergent people, which I am now, or have always been, but now I'm aware of. Um, it's also bad for people who like the arts because I think art may be the only way to truly self actualize and also potentially like make money. I don't know. I think and it's not because the labor is any different. I think it's like if we lived in a world where you didn't work for wages and instead were just given what you needed, and then the labor that you did was like added on top of that for stuff that you could, like, oh, if you're a plumber, right? I'm not saying plumbing is not valid, or of course I'm not saying that plumbing isn't valuable or self-fulfilling. I think it would be really cool. I think, hydrodynamics and plumbing systems, and I mean like the L thing that toilets have so that it doesn't stink because the air gets trapped by the water. That's cool. I think that's cool. And I'd like to learn about plumbing, but I got a hard focus into drawing right now because if you can draw something, then you can kind of like do anything, I think. That's kind of my philosophy, which is really dumb because it falls into the kind of programmer mind viruses of, oh, if I can like master computers, then I can basically master anything else because everything else is just like comes after that. And I call it the programmer mind virus, but that's just because I saw a video the other day that was, I forget what it was, honestly. I think it was just yesterday actually, so that's bad. But it was like talking about sometimes when the world is run by programmers or like tech bros, it's kind of a bad thing because a lot of them fall into this idea of like, oh, I've mastered. Oh, right, I remember what it was. It was that old Line Go Up video by Folding Ideas. That's my butterfly knife, by the way. It's just a practice one, I promise. Um, but and he was talking about like people will master these niche subjects, in my case art, and they'll try to apply that mastery to everything. But I think art does have a lot of, like, the way that I like to learn it, um, has a lot of merit because it's like you can study an object. Like if I disassembled like a small motor or something, it would take a lot of time. This isn't something that's like efficient, at all. It's just something that I could do myself. I could like analyze the parts of an object and I could draw them, and then I could like just learn what they do just by like looking at them and then seeing how they interact, right? Anyone could do that. That's not a me thing. I'm just saying like I think that sometimes we kind of think that too much. Like we want to apply our existing skill set into if you can't tell, I haven't taken my meds, by the way. I'm kind of rambling. I usually try to wait. I was trying to take them early in the morning so I could get like my work done, my personal work, drawing, whatever. But I've been waiting until like work to take them because I've noticed that I kind of feel better when I don't want to kill myself at that job. Like the next day, I at least feel a lot better. But yeah. Right. I kind of started like three different subjects and didn't finish them. So we'll try to run it backwards. I just finished the, sometimes we try to apply niche concepts to too broad of subjects, right? So we did that. We'll go back through, like, for example, plumbing, right? I think plumbing would be a really cool thing to learn, but I think it's hard for it to be self-fulfill like it's hard for it to be fulfilling for a person sometimes unless you're the type of guy that really values that perception of like handyman masculinity or something. uh you know because it's like everyone is constantly working. Every human being, if you have more than $1 billion, or if you have more than $1 billion in assets, I don't want to say a million because like I saw an image of like a one bathroom, two-bedroom house in Massachusetts that was like one story and going for almost $1 million. So I'm like saying if you have like $1 billion or access to $1 billion, or if you're in the government, you're probably not a real person. You're not like a human. But like everyone else is kind of struggling to live. They gotta, like, it doesn't really matter if you're working at McDonald's or if you're working at um like Barnes and Noble. Anyone who is working wage jobs right now, I feel like don't have the energy, the time, the capacity to take a risk that is to like spend an extra 4 hours a day studying, a trade and then going into that trade instead, where they're going to be the new guy on the block. Because obviously, if you're new, that means that everyone needs to hate you. You're a sack of shit, and also you should be paid 50% of what the guys who've been there for 10 years are getting, even though those guys are also getting paid less than minimum wage. Which, okay, again, not true. This is like a straw man. It's not real. It probably doesn't work like this, but I've noticed that, like, when I talk to like family members, they're like, "Oh, you start at the bottom, so you should be getting paid like shit." And I talked to my dad, and he was like, "I gotta when I was in construction, I had to start fucking digging the ditches, man, and then I worked up, and then I worked." And I was like, "That's great, but like, why does the power structure need to be organized like that, dude?" Like, people wouldn't want to have these power structures if they were given what they need anyway. From my perspective, like, I don't mind digging a ditch until I'm unable to, as long as other people are digging ditches with me. As long as we're getting treated fairly, the ditches need to be dug at some point, right? It's like just a thing we all got to pitch in and do together. It's a matter of how we're rewarded and treated as humans and citizens that matters to me. After the fact, anyways. And then back to the one project I'm willing to talk about. So I really like this book called Blood Meridian. You may have heard of it. It's kind of becoming really popular. I obviously knew about it before it got popular because it was in my recommendation a month before everyone else's because I'm awesome and I'm unique and special and you're not. So basically, I'm cool. And so I've been really obsessed with the book recently. And it's, yeah, who isn't, right? I feel like it's pretty popular. Or maybe it's one of those things where you have the algorithm and then you see it so much in your algorithm that it makes you think that everyone is talking about it, but it's really just the simulacrum, like constructing your reality for you kind of thing. I don't know. Basically, I like the book. And I like one of the most, I don't know where, but the reason why I read it was because I heard a scene described. I don't remember what the context was. I'm really hoping it wasn't the Wendigoon video because I don't think the dude's a bad dude or anything, but he is a major league slopper for real. In like the best way. He seems like a nice guy. Um and like, you know what I mean, but he is a major league slopper. And that's okay. We like, you know, I like Pyrocynical. We eat a little bit of slop once in a while. I digress. I digress. Um, but I loved the scene where Black Jackson, if you've read the book, there's a black guy named Jackson and a white guy named Jackson, and they're at this campfire because they're in a gang of scalp hunters and they're out in the wilderness, scalping hunts and whatnot. And so Black Jackson sits down next to White Jackson. He's like, I don't think he says anything. And White Jackson says, if you don't move, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you racially insensitive epithet. I actually don't know if he calls him that. Anyways, Black Jackson is like, is that your final say? And then White Jackson's like, as final as that awesome video game released on PC with a grappling hook or something. I don't know. I don't think he says that. I don't think he says that. And so Black Jackson gets up and leaves, and he comes back. He's unsheathed his giant Bowie knife, and like before White Jackson even has a chance to like turn around or do anything, he's just sitting crouched there, and Black Jackson fucking chops his head off, like epic style, and the way Cormac is able to describe the scene, like it's he uses a simile about like two serpents coiling out of the carotid artery in White Jackson's neck. And then the next day he's sitting there like an anchorite, not an acolyte, an anchorite in prayer, right? And you know, this goes into the whole story, like what it's about is it's like violence and how violence unites all humanity, right? You see that uh in different parts of the book. Like at one point, there's a bartender who doesn't want Black Jackson to sit with all the white guys, but like to the gang, you know, Black Jackson's just Jackson. I don't think they ever call him Black Jackson, or maybe they do. I don't remember, but he's just Jackson, right? He doesn't. They don't really perceive him as a black guy, and not because they aren't racist. They're really racist, but because Black Jackson has proved that he is as capable of violence as any of them, more capable than some in the case of White Jackson and those who die along the story. They're like, he's one of us because he kills people and we love him for it. And so basically, they fucking blow this bartender's brains out for being a racist sack of shit, and then in a kind of cosmic, ironic justice sort of way. And yeah, yeah, no, like the every character in this book is evil except for maybe like five, six people total that aren't overtly like hostile and evil, which is cool. But the project idea was Black and White Jackson kind of take up this situation of like yin and yang almost, like internal opposites. And there's a scene where White Jackson, before he is murdered, um, keeps like they're out in the desert. The gang is walking along, you know, caravan style, two decks of cards, and and the sun's hot. Obviously, they're cowboys. They don't want to be out in the sun. And White Jackson would kind of slowly slow his horse down to catch Black Jackson's shadow, and then Black Jackson would kind of like slow down so that that asshole got out of his shade because he didn't want to be the guy who's getting like he's getting gypped, you know, he's getting. Oh, I just realized that's probably like short for what may be a slur for certain Romanian people. My bad. I didn't even think about that. I promise. I promise I didn't mean it like that, guys. Um, he's getting like scammed because he doesn't get any shade, but the white guy is like using him as like, you know, like shade, and it sucks. But also the visual is that you have, and keep in mind, they don't specify the way the horses like what colors they are, but I'm picturing a white guy on a black horse and a black guy on a white horse, right? Which is a little bit too on the nose for the symbolism of the yin and yang thing, but like I don't know, it's kind of cool, right? And it works for me because this image would be you have White Jackson on a black horse, Black Jackson on a white horse, and the shadow from Black Jackson's horse is kind of like making it's obfuscating the values in the darker values in the black horse, and so only the lighter values of White Jackson's skin, like his face, uh, it depends on what where the commitment would be, but like, and then the white of the sand next to Black Jackson's horse, right? Because it's like I'm picturing this pale, yellowy orange, very like light value, high value sand. And so it would almost come together like a yin and yang in my head. And it's like, ah, oh, that's such a cool image. Oh, that's so cool. Cormac McCarthy was so awesome. And then he was old and, rest in peace to one of, I think he is a great American author, right? I haven't read enough literature to be able to say, but people seem to think that, and I think that too, because the two books I've read are pretty good. I think I originally wanted to read Blood Meridian because of No Country for Old Men, because I really like Anton Chigurh. He's very funny. I loved the movie, and so I was like, well, I liked the movie, so I'm betting the books are good. So I read Blood Meridian, and then I read No Country, and then I read Blood Meridian again recently. So yeah. Um, Whoa, my phone. God damn. Excuse me, I'm a little. I don't know. My nose is a little plugged, but yeah. I should read Moby Dick probably. It's probably a good book. I only ever watched the movie in our literature class or like in our English class, which is pretty funny. I think the same year we did Great Gatsby, so either I don't know, maybe we were slow readers, or maybe it would be a lot to expect ninth graders to like be able to get through both of those books. But I liked The Great Gatsby. I don't remember a ton about it, but I at least remember the symbolism. I mean, and it's funny because like The Great Gatsby rings a lot more true as soon as you turn like 19, or as soon as you've had like a job for a while and you realize that you aren't going to be, you do the math and you realize that this wage is not going to be getting you a house, and you're like, oh, The Great Gatsby is about the American dream. I'm just such an idiot. How did I not get that? It's like when you're a kid, you don't have the life experience to really appreciate that oftentimes. I mean, some people do. I'm just talking about for me. This is a kind of sweeping generalization, which is a fallacy. And you know what they say about fallacies? It makes a phallus of you and me. So that's why you don't use them. Because you're the only phallus I see. Sorry. Oh, my mom watches these. Don't watch these, Mom. Just look at the thumbnail. Maybe give me a thumbs up and leave. We get into serious topics on this channel. Okay, well, this is probably going to be my longest one. I might actually not be able to. I might not actually be able to like give you guys multiple videos because I'm just gonna have to like use this one time. I don't know. I like fives and I like zeros at the end of numbers, so I'm gonna talk for um another like a minute 30 seconds. I saw there was a comment on one of my videos that was like, yeah, this is great practice. Now eventually work up to three values. I'm like, yes, dude, I know. That is my plan. That is what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know. It's like getting explained to when you already know what you're like what you're going for. Uh, but I know he meant well. I'm very petty and I have a huge ego. My ego is so big, dude. But that's why my friends like me, I think, because I am very much. I don't know. Maybe that's like one of the bad parts. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now. I don't have any sort of goals. But, oh, right. I did a study yesterday. Kind of yesterday and the day before. There's this art I like from Brother Bear. I forget the artist's name, but it's like concept art. And I really like the, I don't think it's academic. Because academic drawing uses more like fine value transitions and really bold, like, Terminator lines, I guess. But the style that I'm liking recently, maybe I'll flash some on screen, is like it's got back 10 seconds. It's got like very obvious grainy pencil marks. Yeah, anyways, so that's all, you guys. I hope my friend finally gets to eat his lunch or his breakfast, because he mentioned that he likes. Okay, that's an inside joke that doesn't really work. I don't even I don't even know, man. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video in like 30 minutes to an hour or something. Peace. Deuces. Uh, hang 10. Keep it loose. Don't let the bastards grind you down.